Hi, this is Les-Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. When D-Man was here last week, I asked him what the punishment should be for the electronic cheating by major league teams. I laughed when he said each team should start the season in 2020 with 5 or 10 losses apiece. I didn't realize the scandals would even get worse than they were, but it did, as it has now spread to the New York Mets. And today, Jessica Mendoza, a baseball analyst on ESPN and an advisor to the Mets, said the fault belongs to the whistleblowers, which seems to me Jessica should be let go by ESPN as well as the New York Mets. The D-Man's here to talk more about that. Jose-Altuve may be involved. More Sports and Les-Levine is on the air.
Go.
From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les-Levine, it's a Thursday night. Good evening, everybody. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les-Levine in our 24th consecutive year and seen exclusively on cleveland.com. The D-Man is here. D-Man, who better than you?
Well, okay, I'm allowed to talk.
People have no idea what you mean.
I can talk.
All right, what is it? What is the buzzing reference?
I laugh and I'm crying for baseball. The latest revelation or the latest allegation from a credible Twitter account, a Twitter account that's been accurate about Beltran the whole way, claims that Bregman and Altuve use, or alleges that they used buzzers in their uniforms or taped to their bodies to
let them
signal
know what pitch is coming in?
pitch is coming.
All right.
Yeah. Which takes this scandal to an even more incredible level than it already is.
Especially when you see the video of him. He hits a walk-off homer, right?
Well, it's the video that is making the rounds. It's probably going to be viral by the time the day is done. Is Altuve's walk-off home run against Chapman and the Yankees in the ALCS, and as he's running around third, he's doing this with his jersey. He doesn't want anybody touching his jersey.
Right. By that time, usually the T-shirt, the championship T-shirt or hat are put on the players.
Well, the tradition is that his teammates rip off you hit a walk-off homer like that, it's become kind of the custom now for the player who hits the walk-off to have his jersey ripped off. In this case, Altuve made it a point, no, you're not touching the jersey, don't rip it off. And then there's a pretty simple lip read where he's saying, I got a piece on. I mean, it's hard to believe that's not what he's saying, because you looked at it, I looked at it, we're amateur lip readers, but he says, I got a piece on, no. And then right after he hit that home run, he ran into the tunnel and he emerged with, I think, a different shirt on or something
that he put on himself.
Yeah, and then Ken Rosenthal asked him on the field, why didn't you have your jersey torn off? And he said, I'm shy, and the last time it happened, my wife didn't like it.
All right, first of all, before today, my favorite player in baseball right now is Jose Altuve. This saddens me, it bothers me, it hurts me, and it should hurt all baseball fans, and heaven knows we don't have enough out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting worse for baseball by the hour. And by the way, now you're starting to see players and ex-players weighing in. You had CC, who's now retired. He weighs in and says that his Yankees got cheated out of the 17 title because they got beat by the Astros. Curt Schilling said that if hitters had the advantage that the Astros had, he would never have been the pitcher he was in October. He said you can't say for sure they wouldn't have won without cheating, but cheating definitely helped. You have Cody Bellinger recently within the last hour saying baseball's got to get to the bottom of this. This is the integrity of the game. Now, You know, truth be told, the Dodgers have been accused of this in recent years.
How about what I just said about Jessica Mendoza, who is the analyst on their Sunday night games, and also for some reason works for the Mets as an advisor. I'm not sure how that happens, but she's blaming it on the whistleblower.
That's truly the first I've heard of it, and it's reprehensible, quite honestly. You know, I have no bone to pick with Mendoza until now. You know, she deserves to be chided for that comment. It's really ridiculous if that's in fact the sole context of it, because if not for Mike Fiers, who knows where we are right now. To me, the Astros should be shamed into a corner to the extent where you had the commissioner's suspensions or commissioner's fines and draft picks taken away. Then you had the owner of the Astros firing the general manager, the manager. I said, you know, next year you start the season with an 0-something record. That's not going to happen. But what you could do if you're Manfred is you could invoke a postseason ban.
Whoa.
You could say to the Houston Astros, I believe you could. I'm pretty sure he has the right to say, in 2020, no matter what you do, you're not going to the postseason.
Well, it's the 100th year anniversary of the Indians winning the pennant the year after the Black Sox scandal. 1920 going back to 1919.
Yeah, and listen, Les, you know, I've been monitoring Twitter all day as this thing has exploded, and people are still saying, oh, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, you got to keep up with the times. There has to be a line drawn somewhere. Otherwise, it's the wild, wild west, and there are no rules, and you really don't have an organized sport.
Joe Nasick from Euclid, Ohio, made a living as a coach being able to steal signs, but that was kind of stealing signs legally.
That's organic.
It's organic. There's no telescopes. There's no extra stuff, technology that helped bring it in. Now, this is the only story that could get Odell Beckham off the headlines.
Oh, don't worry. He'll figure out a way to get into the Astros cheating scandal
For
story.
those who don't know,
somehow.
the New Orleans police issued an arrest warrant for Odell Beckham after slapping a security guard, excuse the expression, on the butt.
And there's a video of it.
There's a video of it.
You know, he comes up to a police officer and hits him in the rear end, and I'm sure he's going to say, oh, that was like, you know, he was in the locker room. That's what players do. You don't touch a police officer, period.
In any way.
In any way, shape, or form. And he obviously did that, so the arrest warrant was issued. But beyond that, you had the handshakes with the cash, and now all of a sudden LSU should be completely talking about its team and what it accomplished against Clemson.
Odell, who's not been at LSU for, 6-7 years maybe, he's got to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
And it's got to be, how about taking the onus away from the new head coach, Kevin Stefanski? That's the first thing he has to deal with.
Yeah, and now the Browns have to wonder, you know, what are we doing here? It's ridiculous. It's typical OMJ.
All right, let me read the statement from the Browns. It's on Odell Beckham Jr. We are aware of the incident and have been in touch with Odell and his representatives on the matter. They are cooperating with the proper authorities to appropriately address the situation.
You know, I heard some people say that the policeman, if he was really serious about it, should have, you know, slapped cuffs on Beckham right then and there. No.
Not in the locker room.
No, and besides, the policeman was doing some other things. He was probably checking for various things in the locker room. But you don't touch an officer of the law. Nobody does that. I don't care what setting it is.
Somebody said today, well, he was just a security guard. I don't care what he was.
No, I don't think so. I think it was a policeman.
Well, I think the policeman picked up on it and turned the warrant in.
All right, well, even if it was a security guard, that is demeaning to security guards to say you can go ahead and touch them, but you can't touch cops.
Dennis-Manoloff is here. Last night we had Dennis Gates on the show, the head basketball coach of Cleveland State. Glenn Berger from Strongsville wrote in, a great show last night. Dennis Gates is certainly an engaging person, and I'm glad you had him on as a guest of your show. I loved how the players got to know each other away from basketball. Super idea. Keep up the great work on cleveland.com. He's hoping for more basketball coverage of Cleveland State. Well, you know how you get that, D-Man?
When?
You get some good players and you get some wins.
It sounds like Coach Gates is doing a really nice job, according to our buddy Nick Camino.
No question about it. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Lots to talk about. The baseball issue with the Red Sox, the Astros, and now the Mets. and of course Odell Beckham and company. Whether he's giving out monopoly money or real money, it's caused a problem for LSU. Did you know the Ohio Lottery has paid out over $1 billion in winnings over the past 6 months? People are winning in record numbers, and winning is happening all over the state of Ohio. Play an Ohio Lottery game and play it today. We'll come back. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine. New content is posted each and every day. The D-Man, Dennis-Manoloff, is here. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Kevin talked a lot today about a shared vision, right? I think my role, really first and foremost, is to not only help us create, but also implement that shared vision, and then ultimately make sure that we stick to it, really relentlessly. And that's really my role. So I look at all the processes that are within a football operation, and whether that's hiring someone, whether that's how we do scouting, whether it's how we look at things, with numbers. I sort of dig into all those processes and make sure that they align with our vision, and that we all as a group, continue to stay aligned and be on the same page, as Kevin said.
So will you be involved in the draft?
Sure.
And what role will you play in the draft?
A process-oriented role. I'm not going to pick the players, but I am going to try to make sure that the players we do pick, again, align with our vision of what we believe is a winning franchise. I've had the opportunity to be around some great organizations, in multiple sports. And one thing that's pretty clear across all of them is that they all have an identity, right? A way. You hear about the Patriot way, or back in the day, the Dodger way, or whatever it might be. The teams that are great are relentless about implementing that way. And that's what we need to do here. And I think that's really my charge. So my charge is not to watch tape and say, oh man, this guy's got great feet. We've got scouts who are way better and way more qualified than I am to do that. But when we come down to make a selection, it is my role to say, okay, are we making a decision here that actually aligns with our way? I mean, look, when I first got here at the beginning of 2016, look, I didn't know the NFL at all. I shouldn't have had a strong voice in anything that was going on. I was trying to learn and absorb as much as I possibly could. And as the years have gone on, not only me, but I think a bunch of people in the football operation have just tried to figure out any way they could help. Any way they could help the team be successful. And I think that's still our mindset going forward. Kevin talked about being better this year than he was a year ago. Hopefully I can contribute more today than I could a year ago, certainly more than I could 4 years ago. But that still means I'm far away from having all the answers. And I think all of us in the building, we don't have all the answers. And I've said this before. I think, the group of people who work in sort of research, et cetera, we're probably some of the most uncertain people in the building. I mean, again, that's the foundation of kind of what we do, is we're trying to figure out probabilities of different things that might happen or create processes that stack the odds in our favor. So, going forward, we'll continue to work on that, but, we definitely don't have all the answers at this point.
All right, a couple of things.
Depot speaks.
First of all, that's the first time most people have heard him speak.
The Browns version of the Wizard of Oz comes out from behind the curtain.
And so when you look at that and listen to that, Josh McDaniels never had a chance.
No.
Right?
Nope. Not as long as DePodesta was on the payroll,
right.
Let alone part of the search committee.
Jimmy-Haslam's son-in-law.
No matter how many hours McDaniels was in Berea, he was not going to get that job.
We see that now. So I mentioned to you before during the break that sometimes media members say one thing, maybe you don't know when it's going to happen, but they say one thing that they become remembered for. Jeff Shudell will become remembered for asking DePodesta, just what is it that you do?
Yeah, Jeff, he's an interesting cat in that he will ask anything at any time, anywhere. I'm glad DePodesta articulated it the way he did. He obviously has a lot of power in this organization. I think it's fair to say that when you said not only did McDaniels not get the job in part because of DePodesta, but Stefanski got the job because of DePodesta.
All right, so we haven't spoken since the decision was made and the announcement was made. Just an overall feeling of what you get out of the hiring of Stefanski.
Well, first of all, I'm not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe anymore. I'm not giving a coach an A+ for his introductory presser.
They all win the press conference.
No knock on Stefanski. It's just I'm tired of it. Last year I got sucked in. You don't wear brown and orange. You don't matter. Well, guess what? That worked out great. So I just said, you know what? I'll listen to what Stefanski says, and I'll say good luck to him.
And we'll see you in September.
See you in September. Win some games. That said, he came across fine. He said all the right things. He seems, he is articulate. He's extremely smart. He and DePodesta obviously are going to have chemistry because of what we just mentioned. Who knows who else they bring in who's aligned with Stefanski. I think with his hire, you've got some hints as to how the Browns are going to approach their team. It looks like you're going to need some tight ends who can do some things. The 12 personnel is talked about a lot. One running back, 2 tight ends. But, of course, you're going to want to use Hunt as well.
Do you think Njoku gets another chance? I mean, he might be that guy you're looking for.
Yeah, maybe. But then again, I mean, who brought him in? Wasn't it Dorsey?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think anybody that Dorsey brought in should have the head on the swivel.
Except
Baker, because
and Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. Okay. And probably some others. I mean, Chubb, of course. So you're not just. There's some guys out there, I guess. I'll have to amend that, but. Stefanski sounds like he's ready to work with Baker and try to figure out what happened last year.
Could you imagine, I assume his wife is still in town as he gets acclimated, that he's at Berea and he gets the word on Odell Beckham. And he calls his wife, or he's done for the day, and sees his wife. He said, the first day, this is what they do to me? The first day?
Yeah, and my advice to Stefanski, not that he cares, I articulated it on my radio show last night on WTAM. So this was before the news about Beckham with the rear end slap of the security officer, but after the post game theatrics with the money, I said you move on from Beckham. You get what you can for him and get him out of here because I don't think he's a guy you want in this locker room. He's not going to lead you anywhere. He's a me-first guy. I'm always the focal point.
But they're always dumb things.
Yeah. And by the way, I got a question. I'm not going to play doctor like Baker did at the end of the season when he threw his training staff under the bus, but I just wonder, when is Odell going to have that core surgery? When's that going to happen?
Are you doubting his word?
Well, let me see. I'm just wondering. That's all. We were told all year he's in so much pain. Oh, he's overcoming. Every week he's overcoming all this pain. We figure out, started with a hip in training camp. Then it became a groin. Then it was a sports hernia. Okay. I thought the sports hernia was going to get repaired. When is it going to get repaired?
Time's a wasting.
You're 3 weeks into your off season, and we haven't heard peep about that, have we?
It has to be something at Monaco or somewhere.
I know, HIPAA, everybody hides behind HIPAA. You can't ask anything. You would think that Odell could relay a message to his many fans, hey, I'm getting core surgery today, and I'm going to be out this amount of time. Evidently, the core's not bothering him all that much.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at real-les-levine@gmail.com. The address is at the bottom of the screen. We'll talk about that. We'll check out some of the GM and coordinator searches as we move on. Northeast Factory Direct, East, West, and South. Of course, you've got the West Side, West 140th Street, Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid. You've got Macedonia, it's Freeway Drive. And, of course, the great website, northeastfactory.com. And check that out before you go anywhere, whether you're looking for kitchen cabinets or kitchen sets or total new design, and you want to pay less than half price that you're going to pay at the big box stores, I suggest you check out northeastfactorydirect.com. We'll check out the GM and coordinator searches when we get back. Dennis-Manoloff is with us. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Celebrate Naturestone's 30-year anniversary with a free Naturestone floor. During 2020, we will be giving away 30 free floors to 30 very lucky customers to say thank you for making Naturestone the best concrete flooring solution for garages, basements, and more. Call or visit naturestone.com today to register to win, and we'll send you a copy of our new buyer's guide absolutely free. There's no purchase necessary. Winners will be chosen monthly. With over 30 million square feet installed for more than 60,000 customers, it's easy to see why I always say it's not just a floor. Wow, it's Naturestone.
Just because I'm not $1 million price doesn't mean I'm worthless. We middle prices get zero respect. We're worth hundreds, even thousands. I mean, I'm a handsome bag of money. And there's $110 million worth of us in the Ohio Lottery Cash Celebration scratch-off alone. Plus, the odds of winning are off the chart. 1 in 3.
Play the $30 cash celebration for a chance to win up to $1 million.
You see?
Oh, and lots of prizes between $100 and $1,000.
Everybody wants $1 million. Would $500 be so bad? Come on.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
More Sports and Les-Levine. This portion brought to you by Tri-C. Dizzy Dean, remember when he was, no, you wouldn't remember when he was calling play-by-play on TV, the game of the week? He said the runner slid into second base. Roger over and out, 1947. Blackjack McDowell, seen on the left. Albert Pujols, Joe Flacco, and Mark Trumbo, all born on the 16th of January. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. D-Man, time for How Come Quickie. How come if you believe in second chances, do not try skydiving?
I hear you.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
All right, you were on WTAM last night. When are you on next?
A busy week next week. I know that. I don't know the exact dates yet, but I know it's busy.
All right, very good. I'm on 92.3 The Fan tomorrow from 10 until 2.
You won't have anything to talk about, Les.
You think? And then I'll be back on Monday, Martin Luther King Day. I will be there from 11 until 3 on 92.3 The Fan. All right, taking a look at some of the names here, some familiar, some not familiar as far as GM is concerned. Monti-Ossenfort, you ever hear of him before?
No.
No.
Probably should.
Well, let me tell you who he is. General manager candidate, currently the Patriots college scouting director. He's been with the Patriots 16 years. It'll be his first interview for a GM job. Patriots blocked him from interviewing with the Texans 2 years ago. Doesn't look like they're blocking anybody this time around. New England.
Wouldn't it be wild if Caserio was on the list? The guy we all thought was coming with McDaniels.
Yeah, so McDaniels stays, Caserio leaves. Yeah. Didn't you find it interesting, though, that the Giants did not talk to McDaniels, but they went below him, I would guess, to get the special team guy.
Here comes the judge. Well,
yeah.
What about this? How many teams did Stefanski interview with?
I don't think any.
I don't think any either, other than Cleveland.
Yeah.
2 years in a row. I don't
Right.
think Stefanski interviewed with anybody but Cleveland last year.
I agree with that. Let's take a look at another candidate. He would be Andrew Berry. We know him. He was here before. Now he's with Philadelphia, but getting permission to come over here. Andrew Berry, an Ivy Leaguer, right?
Rumors are he doesn't want to, he might be weary of walking back into this Haslam soup.
Why? Because he got left here before?
Yeah, as crazy as it can get in the Haslam household, business household.
All right, then you get to George-Paton, who's also in the mix. Now, George, a guy quite familiar with Stefanski. What are you laughing at?
I'm sorry, I can't get out of my head. I heard a guy on an update. I don't know what station it was. He goes, George-Paton might be one of the available candidates. I'm like, oh, blood and guts is going to come in here. All right.
You want to run through a wall for that guy?
There you go.
Right?
I'm sorry. Yeah, Peyton might be in the mix. He's obviously got familiarity with Stefanski going way back. So you would think that would be one of the first calls if it hasn't already been made.
Then you have the defensive coordinator situation. Yeah. And first name that comes out of the box, Steve-Wilks, who was here last year.
Yeah, here's the thing about Wilks. I thought he got a little bit of a bad rap last year because he was dealing with a lot of injuries, especially to the back half, the second and third levels.
Suspension to Myles Garrett.
Devastating suspension of Myles Garrett. I'm not excusing all the defensive breakdowns on personnel shortages or saying that Steve Wilks couldn't have had a better year. I'm simply saying that I think he was hamstrung by some personnel shortages, and I wouldn't mind seeing him back again.
How about Joe Woods? What do we know about him? Well, he's 49ers defensive backs coach and passing game coordinator in 2019, and the Broncos defensive coordinator back in 17-18. Finished third in overall defense.
I hope he can take all of Saleh's secrets with him and bring him here.
It would be nice. It would be nice. And then you've got
Wade-Phillips.
Yeah, then you got Wade-Phillips. Everybody knows his. Look at that. Look at all the stops he's made, and he's had a couple of top 10 defenses there.
Yeah, been a head coach. I don't know about Wade. I mean, we'll see.
72 years old.
No, that's not the fact. That's not the issue to me. I just wonder, if he's as good as he once was. We'll see. I honestly, if it came down to Wilks versus Phillips, I'd take Wilks.
Yeah, so would I.
But it all depends on the chemistry that Stefanski has with the candidate. I mean, really, if you're the head coach and you're interviewing a guy who's going to be as important as a DC and maybe an OC, by the way, credit Stefanski for learning the lesson from Kitchens, which is don't dig in about calling your own plays on game day.
He didn't turn it down.
No, but he said at least he left the door open.
Yeah.
Unlike Kitchens, who right up until the end was like, I'm calling my own plays.
I don't want the head coach calling the plays. I don't care how sharp he is, whatever. I need him to be involved in the entire scope of the game.
Right, and I also think that Stefanski, as smart as he is, with the ability to process information as quickly as he does, he can overrule, he can veto any call.
Hopefully they're out of the huddle quicker and they've got that play called. You can explore your interests, find a program that puts you on the path to a bright future with Tri-C. Tri-C offers more than 1,000 courses in over 140 career and technical programs. Go to tri-c.edu for more information. We'll come back in a moment. We're going to switch gears, talk baseball, Indians baseball. Find out if the Indians can now compete. It looks like I don't like what some of the competition is doing, D-Man. Minnesota
Agreed.
and Chicago. It doesn't look good for the Tribe, but we'll see. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Well, Smiley One is coming out to my house to give me a checkup. That'll be something, not me, but my furnace and air conditioner getting ready for the spring. That's all from Smiley One at smiley1.com. This date in sports history, D-Man, the 16th of January, 1972, Cowboy Roger Staubach outduels Dolphin quarterback Bob Greasy in Super Bowl VI. That's at Rice Stadium in New Orleans. That was final score on that one was 24-3. The Cowboys won.
Roger Staubach, one of my favorite players growing up.
Great player, no question about it. All right, your thoughts. We talked about the cheating scandal. Are we ready to call it? Don't put gate on the end of this, by the way.
No, it's just full-blown scandal. And you know what? MLB's got a lot of work to do because they claimed through a couple of national writers that their investigations of the Astros potentially wearing these wires or pieces was done and is over. No, I think you've got to reopen that. Remember, a couple of years ago, MLB closed the investigation on the Astros during the postseason. Correct. Remember that?
Yeah, they didn't want to interfere with the game itself.
Well, that was obviously a mistake. And I said in the pre-show meeting, let's go to the 2019 World Series, the Nationals against the Astros. You read about it, and the Nationals were well aware of the allegations concerning the Astros. So they went through a whole bunch of a big effort to change their signs, hide their signs, these wristbands, and all kinds of, who knows, decoder pins, whatever it is. What was the Astros' record at Minute Maid Park in the 2019 World Series?
I believe they won 4.
0-4. Astros went 0-4. Now, you tell me that's a coincidence? Now, yeah, they got some hits. They scored some runs. But I find it interesting that the year that the opposition clamped down on the cheaters won 0 games in their building. Now, you could say, well, the Astros won 3 on the road, so what are the Nationals? No, we're talking about the Astros here.
I just, they got some great ball players, and now I'm thinking about Bregman, I'm thinking about Altuve, and am I being conned on this? Because maybe they're not as good as I think they are.
Yes, you are, and I don't care about home road splits. Listen, I'm saying that I'll bet you the Astros took that act on the road somehow. You can't tell me it was just limited to Minute Maid Park.
They got caught at the Progressive Field, setting up whatever they were setting up by Andre Knott.
Andre Knott had the guy next to him with the code and all that. He was using his phone and all that stuff. This was high-tech, full-blown cheating. And I think Manfred's got to come in on top of his original ruling and institute a postseason ban a la NCAAs.
Okay, he may have to do even more than that. You were reading a tweet about a guy who bought tickets for a pretty good price.
Yeah, a guy claimed to have been an Astros season ticket holder and says that he was cheated out of a real product, out of a legitimate product. He didn't get what he paid for.
He paid full price.
And he claims, he's going to potentially look into a class action lawsuit against the Astros and MLB. And you laugh on the surface, but if these allegations get proven even more, I think an attorney could make a case that what a person was paying for, which was integrity on the level, was not happening.
All right, I mentioned early in the show Jessica Mendoza, who works with the Mets and also with ESPN, and you said, well, if it's true, if this is what was said, well, you checked it out. What do you got?
Les, I didn't doubt you, but I was so incredulous, and I wrote to it. I just said, is this a parody answer? I mean, you got to be kidding me. Jessica Mendoza, up to this point, well respected in baseball circles. He obviously was with ESPN's crew, and she's flat out saying, what a shame that Mike Fiers did what he did. Otherwise what?
That's why you have whistleblowers.
It would have been covered up?
No, whistleblowers are to be protected by the people that are blowing the whistle.
Let me tell you something, Les, and I don't mean to be graphic here. MLB needs an enema this offseason. They need a full-blown enema where it is all laid bare. And Manfred has got to send every team into spring training with the directives and the threats that none of this stuff will be tolerated. None of it.
With friends like that, who needs enemas?
There you go.
All right, so now baseball, that's still going to be played as far as we know.
Yes.
The Twins, who won 100 games last year.
Yes.
Look what they did. They went out and got Josh Donaldson at about $18 million.
Look at that lineup, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, my goodness. Max Kepler, who kills the Indians. Jorge Polanco, Josh Donaldson, the projected lineup. Nelson Cruz, Eddie Rosario, Mitch Garver, Miguel Sano, Luis Arias, and Byron Buxton, one of the best defensive center fielders at any time.
If
anywhere.
Buxton ever remains healthy, Arias, we saw him take off in the second half of the year. You got Sano sitting in the 7-hole. This lineup, I believe, returned 5 30-home run guys, and then you add Donaldson to that.
Well, I would think the Indians' starting pitching is better than Minnesota, but the lineup is not.
No.
Look at the White Sox. Their projected 2020 lineup.
Look out.
Moncada, the AL batting champ, Tim Anderson, their shortstop. Jose Abreu, Yasmani Grandal. Edwin Encarnacion shows up. Eloy Jimenez, Nomar Mazara, Luis
Robert, the guy who signed the big contract while he's in the minor leagues.
Right.
He's expected to potentially break camp.
And Luray Garcia.
I mean,
these teams are loaded.
That lineup is loaded. Mazzara, I'll take it to the bank. If Mazzara stays healthy, he's hitting 30 bombs this year.
Oh,
that kid is a good one, and he's in a park where his fly balls are going to carry.
All right, are there 30 home runs in this projected Indians lineup of 2020? Let's take a look. Of course, you've got one of the top 5 players in all of baseball in Francisco Lindor. Oscar Mercado, Carlos Santana, Jose Ramirez, Franmil Reyes, Cesar Hernandez, Jake Bowers, and Roberto Perez, the catcher, and Greg Allen. Pitching is better, but...
My only tweak to that would be Luplow in left. I think Luplow's going to get the shot, certainly against lefties and maybe full time. But, yeah, I mean, it's a solid lineup. Don't get me wrong. The Indians' lineup is not bad, but compared to the White Sox and the Twins, it's lacking. Now, I'm hoping the Indians have one more acquisition in their quiver, and that would be the right fielder or the DH, whichever one Reyes doesn't want to play on that given day.
Well, I heard Terry Francona today say that they've talked to Reyes and they've told him what they want out of him. If he can improve defensively, he's got a job, full-time job.
Yeah, but I think that would also be okay if Reyes said, I want to be a DH full-time, because you're not going to walk away from 50 home runs, potentially.
All right, 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Northeast Factory Direct, east, west, and south. Check them out as well as northeastfactorydirect.com. Freeway Drive, that's in Macedonia to the south, Lakeland Boulevard to the east, West 140th Street to the west. Alex started the business, one piece of furniture and one small garage in Lakewood, and look what he's turned it into 20 years later. One of the great success stories in Cleveland business history. No question about that. northeastfactorydirect.com. We'll come back in a moment. Sokolowski's University Inn. You can imagine the conversations we had there. First of all, they're moving room in the Polish Sports Hall of Fame for Stefanski to be put up there already.
Yes.
I don't think he hasn't earned it yet, but it may take a couple of weeks. Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn. There's nothing better. 11 to 3, Monday through Friday. Friday and Saturday nights for dinner. Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn. We'll come back. We'll listen to the voicemail of Truth and Reason when we get back. Dennis-Manoloff with us. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get Nature Stone and never replace your basement flooring again. Your concrete is uneven, damp, and not healthy. Carpet and tile don't last, breed mold and mildew, and give worthless warranties. Nature Stone permanently corrects uneven concrete and is not affected by dampness or moisture. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, there are no hidden maintenance costs. Act now and save up to 50% with our volume discount pricing. Must be installed by the end of January. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Let's check out this date in Les-Levine history. Les is 1972, D-Man. Les is named the television voice starting in the fall of the Cleveland Crusaders of the World Hockey Association. He decided to play it safe and studied only players whose names he could pronounce. Didn't want to go too many of the French names on that. 216-575-0403. This week in review, 1974. Remember Hal Greer of the Sixers used to take jump shots from the foul line. Les thought that he should have been awarded 2 points instead of 1 for that.
That's good.
We continue on. And Kevin Stefanski decided to come to Cleveland when he realized that this is the actual home of Sokolowski's University Inn. People have made other choices, not as good as that one. All right, next segment. You're voting for. Look at that. You have taken my. You've gotten it down to a science. That's my signature.
I'm trying.
I can vouch for it that I didn't sign it.
I'm trying to write. I'm trying to do Les Levine's signatures.
Well, you won't get very far trying to write checks.
I wonder what Jose-Altuve's signature looks like these days.
It's
Peace.
P-I-E-C-E.
I got the piece. I got the piece. Don't rip it off.
Tom Randazzo says, hey, Les and D-Man, hopefully this most recent OBJ escapade will finally convince the Browns that he's got to go. I hated the trade right out of the gate. Don't saddle another coach with this guy unless he can score 20 touchdowns.
I didn't hate it out of the gate. But I was hoping that everything was wrong about New York and this new setting. And no, he's the same guy. OBJ, everything's about him.
The thing about it, it's not like he's doing anything that is wrong. I mean, illegal. He's just a pain in the neck.
Yeah. Well, except for the touching the officer. But,
well, that you can't do.
Yeah, it's, he's not worth the trouble. It's all about him.
As you know, we have the voicemail of Truth and Reason. Ron has called in and left a message. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hi, Les. This is Ron Byer. Hey, Les, Browns fans need to take a deep breath and give Kevin Stefanski some positive attitude. If you seriously think about it, Kevin would be ready to start his second season with the Browns if it wasn't for the love of Dorsey towards Freddie Kitchens last year. Stefanski is football smart. He has been around the league 14 seasons, long enough that I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt to get this team figured out and start on the winning trend. Fans, if you're mad and upset, be that with Haslam. Give Stefanski a chance.
Well, it's a good point.
But I think most people are what Ron's talking about. And most people are upset with Haslam. They're nervous about Haslam. They don't trust Haslam to stay patient. I don't think there's any real nastiness directed toward Stefanski, especially in the wake of his presser, which, as I said, he came off very good in.
Let's go to BP, who's in Pepper Pike. BP, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is.
What up, BP?
Good morning, good afternoon, gentlemen.
And good night.
You got it. But, no, I just wanted to check in with you guys with the Stefanski hire. I was disappointed, like a week ago. I just felt Josh McDaniels gave the Browns like a higher probability of winning because, he was going to come here. We knew we were going to get some of those executives from the Patriots. Now, to me, there's still a lot of uncertainty. Like anybody that thinks the Browns can make the playoffs right now, they're just nuts because who's the defensive coordinator here? Who's the offensive
we don't have one.
coordinator?
We don't have one.
Who's the general manager? There's so many question marks.
Yeah, plenty of them. But I think, and I don't know if you heard us at the beginning of the show, BP, where we said that it has become clear that McDaniels never had a chance in this organization.
Well, as long as, Jimmy-Haslam was giving *Podesta, a very strong vote, yeah, it wasn't going to happen. And the jury's out on *Podesta. I'm not a big fan of his. I mean, back in 2016, they botched up that draft when they could have had Carson Wentz or Ezekiel Elliott or Joey Bosa, and they ended up with Corey Coleman, who's out of the NFL.
Yeah.
What do you think, D-Man?
Yeah, BP, I mean, first of all, I'm willing to start with a clean slate on Stefanski. He hasn't proven anything. He hasn't disproven anything. I hope he succeeds. I hope he succeeds right away because I don't have the stomach for another rebuild. And I think I speak on behalf of most Browns fans there. But can you trust the Haslam paradigm? No. Based on what he's done in the past, you can't. Will they be able to get satisfactory front office put together? I don't know.
You think Stefanski will get a pretty good honeymoon period here?
By one half of one game, does that constitute a pretty good honeymoon?
I'd say halftime.
I mean,
of the exhibition game.
It depends. I think if he starts 0-4, 0-5, he's in serious trouble right out of the gate. But again, I don't even want to think that. He's 0-0, and we'll see what he does. But my advice to him, BP, and you agree with me, the first thing he should do is send OBJ packing. He doesn't even need to wait for a general manager on that.
Hey, BP, I'll be on 92.3 The Fan tomorrow and Monday, so
cool.
I expect you
Real
to be.
quick, I do have another question.
I expect you to be calling.
What do you think about Myles Garrett? Like, do you think he'll be suspended starting the season coming up? What do you think?
You think he'll be eligible game one? I do too.
I think he'll go to the commissioner's office probably in, I'd say, March.
Hat in hand.
Have his presentation, and he will show a squeaky clean resume, if you will, since the suspension began.
And by the way, I said he'll go hat in hand. I did not mean helmet. I meant hat.
My also thought is, what do you think about guys like David Njoku and let's say Njoku and Rashard Higgins? Will they get a clean slate here? Or what do you think with the new coach?
I asked E-Man the exact question about Njoku. I didn't say anything about Hollywood Higgins, but I'd like to think they'll get a shot.
Yeah, and Les makes a point. I guess now that I'm thinking about it over the course of the show, Njoku's got freakish athleticism. He was injured in a freakish manner. So maybe Stefanski looks at that athleticism, and he just came from a Kyle Rudolph, and he says, you know what, I can work with this guy.
And I think, to me, one of the biggest disappointments with the Browns season was the job that John Dorsey did this year. 10 of the 53-man roster were cut sort of during the season. Guys like Antonio Callaway and the Devereaux Lawrence, and it was like a revolving door.
Yeah.
They really did a bad job. They left camp, let's say September 1st, and 10 out of 50 guys were basically cut during the season.
BP, I gotta go.
Thanks, BP.
I gotta go home and take a nap.
Sounds good. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
What BP just talked about with Dorsey, can you think less of a guy in Cleveland, whether it be front office coach or player, whose star fell as fast as John Dorsey's?
No.
I mean,
no.
It's hard to think of a guy within 2 years going from he's the man, he's unbelievable, he's going to lead us to glory, to being out on the street and nothing more than a glorified scout, according to some of the critics.
My guess is he realized somewhere along the line he had to do something so special and so unexpected. Otherwise, he's going to lose the job, and that's pretty much what happened. But I think he was trying to. Hopefully, Freddie Kitchens was going to work for him, Odell Beckham, and so on. I think he thought he needed a splash, and he tried it, and it didn't work.
Right, and maybe he got snookered by Kitchens insofar as, remember what Wiley had said, okay, Zampese was really the brains behind the operation. Somehow Dorsey missed that.
Could be sour grapes.
It could be, but we thought it was initially when it came out. But the more we watched Freddie Kitchens coach, the more we were like, oh, maybe Wiley was onto something.
I have a ton of emails, quickies. Are you ready to grade them?
I'll do the best I can.
Otherwise, we'll get Rob Manfred in here to
We'll do buzzers. 1 is a yes.
If I land, 2 if I see.
2 is a no.
Back in a moment. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com. You can call us anytime with the voicemail of truth and reason. 216-200-6650. Call anytime if you're not watching us live, which is from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and leave us a message. We will respond to it. I got to stop myself from arguing with a taped message. We'll come back in a moment. More Sports and Les-Levine, seen exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get Nature Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Your concrete is cracked, uneven, and not safe. Paints and poly coatings don't last, are slippery, and give worthless warranties. Nature Stone permanently corrects cracked, uneven concrete, eliminates slipping hazards, and is easy to clean. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, there are no hidden maintenance costs. Act now and save up to 50% with our volume discount pricing. Must be installed by the end of January. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine with new content posted each and every day. You ready to grade?
Ready? Yes,
some
sir.
Grading? Toledo Mike. How come when I read about the evils of drinking, I gave up reading? Well, no, you can write them down.
6.
Here, write them down. You got this Sharpie you could do that with. A 6. Okay. All right, Larry Hallowell, I got to tell you something. This is terrific, but you know and I know I can't use it.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
I appreciate the effort. I just can't use it. This is from Big Ed. How come when a man knocked on my dad's door wanting a donation to the community swimming pool, he gave him a glass of water? 7? All right, that's good. How come, I can't do that one either. Yeah. You know, someday when I do the dirty how come quickies, you can go with these. Mr. Gullible. How come I take a nap every day because I heard you can sleep your way to the top? It's good. What do you got?
I'm not.
0.0?
It's too controversial for me.
All right, how about this one? How come the new executive director of Old McDonald's Farm is CIEIO? Not the CEO, he's the CIEIO. What do you think? 8. John Patrick, I can't believe this. You know, they make me get to the edge. You know, they're on the edge when they write them, and then if I go over, they get mad if I don't read them, and then if I do read them, then I'm in trouble. How come when I go to the dentist, I get a full cavity search?
Heard that one before.
Well,
7.5.
Probably heard all of them before. John Patrick comes back with this one. How come my boss says we're going to keep having meetings until we can figure out why nobody is getting anything done? We're going to have a meeting on that. Oh, my goodness.
9.
9. Boy, by your reckoning, that's pretty good. Pretty good.
We've got to come up with a quickie for the Astros. How come when the Astros are buzzed, when pitches come in, or how come Astros hitters?
How about this? Altuve comes to the ballpark. And he goes in the players section. And they go, Altuve's here, buzz him in.
Or if I were another team, I would set up a metal detector in the visitors' batter's box.
Could you imagine that? The umpire. Let's go to Mansfield. Denny standing by. Hello, Denny.
With legalized gambling going all over the country, Major League Baseball's got a real problem.
That's a great point.
If their game isn't straight, this is a big deal.
That's right, Denny. You're absolutely right. I laughed there about what we're trying to make light of some of what Altuve's doing, but you are 100% correct with gambling being legalized in more and more states. You better be on the level, or else. Or else you've got a product that can't be gambled on.
Let me just repeat that one more time. Mr. Altuve's in. Can we buzz him in?
Yeah.
That is pretty good.
They got some splaining to do. Honestly, if I were MLB, I would have Altuve and Bregman on the first plane that they can get up to New York, and specifically Altuve. I show him that clip and I go, "What were you saying there?"
Yeah.
What were you saying as you grabbed your jersey?
Yeah. What did it look like for slip readers?
It looked like he said, "I'm wearing a piece." No.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a piece.
He's wearing a buzzer. He's got to sit for a year.
Oh, he's banned from baseball. If they
ban Pete Rose, you almost have to ban him for life, right?
Yeah. If you're wearing an electronic device, you're done, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But they have to prove it, and it's only allegations right now. But I would put Altuve and Bregman under the microscope in the MLB offices. And all it's going to take, by the way, is one, like Fires.
Yeah.
Because remember, when Altuve's running into the plate, going toward the plate, he's yelling to his teammates, "Don't tear this off."
Right. Now
so somebody knows.
Altuve walks into the batter's box, and the umpire says, "Get in the box," and he says, "Slow down, I'm wired." Just had some coffee.
He's never going to hear the end of it. If he does remain in the game, he's never going to hear the end of it, nor should he.
Let me repeat that. You look like you just had some caffeine. Yeah, I'm wired. Yeah. I could do this all night. No, you know what? It's
you're
not
right,
funny.
Denny. No, you're
it's
right.
Not,
Denny
thank
makes a
you
great
for the
point
call. Good to talk to you.
About gambling. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You've got to be on the level as a professional sports entity in today's climate.
D-man, for you and me, who love the game of baseball, this is a sad day.
It's a sad day, and yet I pray that it leads to a purge. that cleansing, as I said earlier. You need to get it all out there, Coach Manfred, Commissioner Manfred. And now the Band-Aid's been ripped off, or the secret. You've got Jessica Mendoza ripping the whistleblower. Let's just blow the whole thing up, see where all the investigations lead, and the cheaters need to be made to feel punishment.
Wow.
Firings. Now, the commissioner can't fire guys. But the owner of a franchise can.
I mean, Houston figured it out quick.
And what you can do to really hit the Astros is you can be Rob Manfred and say, you know what? There's a preponderance of evidence that you cheated. I'm instituting a postseason ban on you the next 2 years. Now,
wow.
Again, I said that, but I don't know if that is covered in the CBA.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why that probably won't happen. If they're taking the postseason away from them, you're possibly... They would not play necessarily at 100%, and then you're giving an advantage to a team that didn't get suspended. If the Indians are playing the Astros late in the season and the Astros couldn't care for anything, you're giving an advantage to the Indians.
I guess, but I also think, as much as I want it to happen, I think somewhere in the CBA they probably have protection against that type of thing.
Ask Mr. Altuve if he's ready. That'll do it for us.
Buzz him in.
Great job by the D-Man, as always. I'll be on 92.3 The Fan tomorrow from 10 until 2, on Monday from 11 until 3. We'll see you then. Thanks to the D-Man. Did a great job, as always, of all the shows I've ever done. This was the most recent.